Welcome back, All the Smoke. Day 2. Had to moisturize.
I never seen anybody put on chapstick on camera.
That was before we said roll camera. But Jack, it's been a good 2 days, man. We got a king here.
Yes, sir.
One of the best to ever do it, man. Someone I really look up to. You know, I like to dabble in the political space, and this is someone that I really look up to and follow because he keeps himself educated and on the front line, not afraid to apologize for mistakes, which is rare. Some motherfuckers will say some stuff and it didn't go and didn't work, and no matter right or wrong, I've seen this brother come out and say, "Hey, I was wrong," and that takes to me a lot of courage.
My wife think I'm supposed to do it to everybody. I'm like, I'm not wrong about everybody.
Like you, right? One fuck up don't mean I'm always fucking up. Yeah.
Everybody thought I was talking to every woman. I didn't do that to you. I didn't lie on you. That ain't a fucking blanket apology.
Welcome to the show, man. One of the kings of comedy, DL Hughley. We appreciate you, my brother. Thank you, man.
But on that note, they thought I was apologizing for everything. Fuck everything. Most of the shit I said, I'm
standing on. Yeah,
I meant
it wholeheartedly.
Or it was a joke, and that's up to you to decide.
Right.
But for me, when you have wronged somebody in a way where it takes flight, like I was a person that spread.
Obviously, we're talking about Kamala
Harris. I was somebody that was complicit because I believe, like a lot of people believe, and it was only when we had a conversation and she asked me to do the simplest thing was to look before I started talking shit. And that was the impetus of the apology. But to me, I care about politics are like a tool to me. Mm-hmm. They ain't no different than a hammer or a nail or a wrench. It is because everything you ask for is all the things that we would want accomplished are going to happen through the political apparatus. Mm-hmm. You can't ask for something. You're marching for effect. You're boycotting for an effect, and that is to put pressure on political figures to act. Mm-hmm. So it's not just some folly for me. What I want is a world that's better for my people. Mm-hmm. And to me, whoever has the best, and that's not and I think it isn't purely transactional, but for me, the ultimate goal is to have the world look better for the people behind me than the people in front of me. People in front of me, they already had their fight.
Mm-hmm. Do you have, obviously speaking on it and being on the front, do you have any aspirations of being a political figure?
I like pussy and liquor too much. I do. Did you do it? Twice. Yes. I don't, and I think, but now the paradigm has moved so much. This the president was in court with a whole testifying against him. Now, I'm not against paying the hooker off, never. But I ain't never paid one to keep their mouth shut, though. I ain't never done that. I'm like,
who leave?
Who does? He wrote a check for a hooker. Who is that Stormy? Is that I-E or Y? Who does, like? So I think the barometer is different, but ultimately, as a nation, the one thing I was relieved about this election process is there's no guessing anymore about where this country is.
It's clear.
You remember how you had these dudes in your neighborhood and they would fuck up all the time, and the mother would spend their time praying, and when she got told they was in jail or dead, she would go, "At least I know where he is." Yeah. That was a relief to them. Yeah. At least I know where this country is. I ain't got to pretend no more. And it knows where it is. So that is, like when I would fuck up in school and they would tell my mother everything I did, I had to worry no more because now I know. And I think it is a freeing feeling to know exactly, and nobody gets an unvarnished truth, where this nation is. Mm-hmm.
I think, I know you do this because, again, you're explaining why this is in your heart and you use this as a tool to the advancement of our people. But what do you think about the people and the people who critique athletes or celebrities or comedians or whatever vein they want to put us in that speak on stuff that literally affects all of us, but for some reason we're not allowed to speak on it in some people's minds?
Well, that went out the window when the game show host became the leader of the free world.
Talk about it.
That's not, here's the thing. Because the only time they ever listen to black people is when we're singing, dancing, running, or jumping. Only time. When do you ever, and that is why, for oftentimes when the nation looks at distractions, and we are generally at the center of that distraction, through athletic prowess or through entertainment, the only time they're ever going to hear us, look at the greatest people in the world who moved needles. It was Muhammad Ali. It was athletes athletes, actors, and artists, people with the attention on them that changed perspectives. Motown changed the '60s. It wasn't people, marching. It was sounds, and it was sights, and it was people risking things, and people that they respected from an athletic perspective. So it was the Jim Browns and all those people that changed America's mind, and it was because the only time they hear us is when we're doing something they like.
I don't want this to be a completely political conversation. We're here where we're at now. So what do we do moving forward?
We're gonna make it. Listen, when the world ends, there's gonna be two things left: niggas and roaches, for sure. They're gonna be left. Left. Nothing that they're doing have we not seen in some kind of iteration.
Facts.
Nothing. So as much as and the funny thing, I'm a 60-year-old wealthy black man. I wouldn't vote. Nothing. I ain't gonna have no abortion. I ain't gonna get nobody. I will say this: Mexicans, enjoy your next 2 weeks, boy, because it's gonna be a lot of white janitors on the 21st. I know that shit. White people better learn this word, fabuloso. Learn that.
Katt Williams in 2024 kind of set the tone and opened up Pandora's box, and we had a crazy 2024.
Right.
We're in a world of exposing or trying to expose or stuff we knew about now that people were okay with, we're not okay with now. That's just a lot of kind of cleansing somewhat. You want to say, do you expect that tradition to carry on in 25?
I think now we're in everybody who's in trouble now, like they got Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, and Diddy. They done fucked around the rest of the 90s. If you ever been on Nick at Night, you going to jail. But look at who those men were raised by. Look at what the influences they saw. We used to grow up, we saw General Hospital had Luke and Laura. Luke raped Laura and then married her. We had Pepe Le Pew, he was a stalker. So we were raised by predatory men wrapped up in a bow. Those men were raised by them. Those men were mentored by men who were raised by worse men. And then they thought they could do it. But what happened is the time changed. What happened is look at all those people in trouble. Look at what their upbringing are. Look at their influences are. Look who they were raised and mentored by. Look at who they were influenced by. You can't be shocked at the result.
Some of these same people, you throw Diddy in there, they're the accusations allegedly about Jay-Z that we grew up on and kind of shaped our ways of living, ways of thinking are now under the magnifying glass. And why do you think, in your opinion, it's only the black heroes that are under fire when you look at the Abercrombie and Fitch group who did similar things to what Diddy's alleged for, but were in and out and they're not even talked about now?
I think Jeffrey Epstein would argue differently. I think Roger Ailes would argue differently.
Okay.
I think there are any number of white men who've lost their position. I think it is a nation's shame. Look, slavery was always wrong, but people accepted it. What they were doing was always wrong. It's wrong to take something against somebody's will. But just because it's in vogue don't mean it's right. And I think that it's a misnomer to say that Jeffrey Epstein's in jail right now, and he's as rich and powerful as you come. And I think the comparison of they get to do it. I think wrong.
Epstein?
Epstein.
Epstein's
not Epstein, the kid from Harvey Weinstein.
Weinstein, yeah.
But I think the argument is they get to do it, we should too. I think that my argument is we should all see the same kinds of sentences. We should all be the same kind of pariahs in society. But you can't tell me how serious you are about men's conduct and then vote for a rapist or some adjudicated rapist. You can't tell me that you're serious about that. So for that aspect, I understand. We're a nation who, when we talk about crime, like I heard, now there are people in these retailers are now raising everything to $950 in California, raising all of their items to $951, which makes it a felony. The number one cause of theft in retail isn't shoplifters, it's cashiers, it's people that work in the stock. But what they do is they trot us out. Like every time they bust one of them rings, it's always a white lady in Napa or San Diego. But we are the picture of it.
Right.
I think, and when we talk about crime, we always talk about blue-collar crimes, not white-collar crimes. Every nigga that ever robbed anything everywhere wouldn't add up to one act, not one Ponzi scheme, one mortgage crisis. But we are constantly the kind of face they hold up.
Or
You
nickel
can't
and
tell me
dime
you gonna be
crimes.
tough on crime, and then you got a court date next month. That just don't. This shit don't work.
Any truth that you refuse to do Club Shay Shay?
Yes,
Was there a reason behind that?
because I think that, and I've said this openly. I think that the reason that many of those men went on that show is because Skip shit on him. Skip shit on Shannon in a way that made most black men go, fuck that, we're gonna make sure this brother. But then those very men were now all of a sudden the subject of ridicule. And then an art form I loved was trotted out week after week because it was in vogue. And Shay Shay is a great platform, but it ain't the arbiter of truth. I ain't never known a club where they told the truth at. Like, I ain't never known one club. Like, it ain't a bench, it ain't a Bible. It became a thing where it was this arbiter of all that was wrong. Now, I know everyone. I love Katt. I think Katt is an andre. I think he's one of the most talented human beings I've ever seen. I know Sid and Skip and Sid and Steve. I know Earthquake. I know all those men. And though I have a decidedly different experience with them. But I thought I thought in terms of my perspective of Club Shay Shay in its initial iteration, it's an art form I loved that now was being trotted out and splayed out, and I thought it was misrepresented. Like, it would be like somebody telling you how shitty basketball was. You know, I love this art form. It took me from places that I never thought I would go to sitting in front of kings and queens. So I have a different perspective of it, and I thought that to me was something that I just, that's why I draw the line at for me.
Respect.
You can do whatever you want.
Respect.
When you called me, I came right.
Right away. I was surprised. I was like, I hit him. He said, yeah, right away. I was
People like,
okay.
well, why you fuck with black? I fuck with black because I like them. I'm gonna fuck with. I'm never gonna explain to somebody or justify somebody why I do anything. I do what I want to do. I'm not gonna tell you where you going, nigga. When my father they asked you ever ask your father where you going, nigga, to see a man about a dog.
I wish I would.
That was the famous line right there. I'm seeing a man
or a
about
horse,
dog.
and we never got none of them.
Right.
But to me, there are things that I spark to agree with, like or dislike. I don't know. I think that what he's doing, he was actually my favorite football player. But I think the iteration of that, the way that came about, and the harm I saw it caused people I love, and an art form I love, made me go, you know what? That's not a thing I need to do.
I know comedy, like sports, has always been a competitive space, but now I feel like there's more beef.
But that's not a. Listen, the Kings of Comedy was at one point was the greatest tour that ever existed. We should have a clause. It was $1,000 for every minute you went off, right? Because you go to these union buildings and they have these hard outs. We never raised $1,000 because everybody respect everybody's time. It was that. I think Kings of Comedy was the birthplace of all of these things we now see, and it was an exercise of black men working in a cohesive way, all loving each other. Now, I'm not saying we didn't have problems. I'm not saying people didn't argue.
Right.
But I am saying that it did so much that was transformative and so much that was good. And to see it reduced to this was a little bit too much for me.
This segment is brought to you by our newest sponsor, StockX, the bridge to the products you love. So before we get back to the episode, my new favorite sponsor has sent me some goodies. Let's see what we got. These are Travis's. They must have got the word. Ooh, the Brown Boys. You know it's official when you got the StockX tag. I can't tell you how I'm excited to have this partnership. I went back and found shoes like from high school that I couldn't afford that all my friends have, and now that I got a little bit of money, I can get those shoes. It's just like Disneyland for adults. I mean, I got any and everything. Uh-oh, this is one of them. The Shocks. You know it's official. Now, obviously all these are for me, but we're gonna start giving you guys a chance to win some shoes too. These are 95s. Like I couldn't afford these in 95. Like all my friends had them. The all black with the baby blue. Fire. It's the cactuses. Ooh, I had these and they got messed up. I love you, StockX. Big shout out to StockX. When you need those exclusive drops, StockX has got you covered.
This episode is brought to you by Captain Morgan, America's #1 spiced rum. This is the season where underdogs rise. brackets break, and every shot can turn players into legends. Some stories are written on the court with buzzer beaters and game-winning plays. But other stories are made off the court, when you and your crew follow the captain within and turn every party into legendary moments. So grab your crew, grab a captain and cola, and make it a story worth telling. Because legends start when you follow the captain. Visit followthecaptain.com for more. Please drink responsibly. Captain Morgan Original Spiced Rum, 35% alcohol by volume. Captain Morgan Rum Company, New York, New York.
Paint the picture of your upbringing in South Central, or ended up getting heavy into gang culture.
Well, I don't. How do you grow up on 135th and Avalon
And not
and you know that's what? How do you're a product of your environment, and this is the caveat I would say. Black men are judged by the exception, not the rule. Mm-hmm. The people that made it as opposed to the people that didn't. Most people are going to succumb to the streets. Most people in that environment. But then you hold, the predicate is, well, he did it, why can't you? Right. A rose can go through concrete, that doesn't mean it's fertile ground.
Right.
Most of us made it out and lucky. And what is it? Why are we here? Because we had a skill set. Mm-hmm. We had a blessing, an extra something that they didn't have. It wasn't you. They could have been just as tall, athletic as you, or just as tenacious as you, or just as funny as me.
Right.
We had something they didn't. And now the rest of our communities are judged by our gifts. Mm-hmm. And that to me is a standard that is so hypocritical. I think every person has the right to live a good life as an average human being. Mm. But we can only live a good life if we're exceptional. Mm. Like I was in a seat one time. It was in first class. It was me and it was Donald Glover and it was a football player. And these white people got on the plane and they go, "You guys must be famous." And he got mad. I'm like, "Nigga, we are famous. What are you talking about?" What? I sit in first class. I make close that curtain because I don't like all that suffering going back and coach. You ever?
all that suffering going back.
Why does this margarita taste so good? Because the salt is made from the tears of the coach passengers. It's crazy.
Oh shit!
Were you a big Showtime Lakers fan?
I was, of course. James Worthy is my favorite player.
Any memories?
James Ager Worthy from Gastonia, North Carolina. Mm. But I was a Laker fan, which is really weird now because now basketball in general is people trying to form Voltron. Mm-hmm. Like it is like I'm not a Nugget fan, but I like that they stayed together even though we're losing and finally won. I like when Milwaukee did it. I like that Golden State has done it. They won in an iteration of they had been written off for a couple of years. They got together, stayed together. But I think the NBA now is so transactional in terms of let's do it now, let's get together and we can do it now. The Knicks used to try to do that. I mean, the Yankees used to try to do it. It never worked. Mm-hmm. But I love the Lakers when we drafted Worthy, we drafted Magic, we got Kareem, we drafted Byron Scott, we drafted Derek Fisher, we drafted Kobe Bryant. So as I grew up here when I watched them become what they are. I remember when he was missing all them shots.
Mm. When he was young, yep.
And he's done something that I very rarely see anybody else do. He won without his nucleus.
Yeah.
Jordan never won without Pippen. Bird ain't never won without those. This said he won 2 champions in a row with 2 people with people who I'm not sure are first ballot Hall of Famers. I know because Hall will make it, but was he a first ballot Hall of Famer? No. So when you watch somebody, when I watched Kareem, and I watched Wilt Chamberlain, and I watched Jerry West, and I watched Kobe Bryant become these things, and he nurtured this city. I remember you and him with the bat. I mean, I watched all that happen. Mm-hmm. So now, in LA, to me, it's Dodgers. And now you're gonna get mad. It's Dodgers, USC. I know.
I don't trip off USC.
It's Dodgers, USC, and Lakers.
Mm. Have you ever been to the Forum Club?
A couple of times.
Any experience?
No.
No great experience?
No, but I watched. I was like, God damn. I watched. You know what? The reason I'll never worry, there are things that I knew that were past me. Like, I ain't never got to worry about my name getting called up in a puffy party. Mm-hmm. Never. Because there were certain things I was like, nah. Mm-hmm. I remember I used to go to Freaknik. And I saw this little brother that I like doing some shit. I was like, I ain't ever coming here again.
Mm-hmm. Another trouble.
Like when you know how to go home early.
That's a gift.
That's the best shit in the world.
That's a gift.
I was in Detroit one time. I was hanging out with these cats, man, and we left at 4 o'clock. And I was like, man, we should go. At 6 o'clock, we watched the police roll all them niggas out. I said, I told you. Mm-hmm. You know what did Tony Dungy say? Everybody gets in trouble. It's three things. It's after 12, he said?
After 12, yep.
Women, liquor, and a gun.
No, nothing good happened after midnight.
Guilty of all
What you
three.
say? Ain't nothing open after midnight but
I've been
legs
guilty
in the
of all
hospital.
three. All three got me. Why'd you get expelled from school? Gangbanging?
I got expelled from school because I was always the last nigga picked for a game and the first one picked for a fight. I was always and the predicate was the same. I want to win.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided I'm gonna make it harder for you to win. And I didn't win a lot, but I fought a lot. I was like, hey nigga, this ain't gonna, all right, now, every time you walk around this corner,
No punk, yeah.
all right, God, if God wanted me to lose, he wouldn't have made so many bricks. I swear to God, he would.
He's throwing the bitches.
Hey man,
Yeah,
imagine fighting a dude who'll fight you every time he see you.
that's a lot.
Even though you know you're gonna win, you're like, nigga,
Yeah.
I got my mama here. I got school clothes on. I'm hanging out talking to this girl. No, nigga, we gonna do this every time. I think that the kids these days get to be more whimsical than we were. When you grew up, the only time you saw a black man smile when he was around men he trusted. You never saw them smile outside of their environment. They smiled in their environment, and they smiled when they were certain that their smile wouldn't be misperceived as weakness. They didn't smile in any other environment but the ones where they knew that they trusted the people they were talking to. And I think that that's not a good thing. I'm not saying that that's a good thing, but I am saying it's a real thing. And younger people these days get to be less serious.
Yep.
And that's you work hard for that. I want them to be able to. I don't want them to know what I knew, but we were a product of an environment that shaped us to be a way, and then the world changed.
Who was your comedy inspirations?
Robin Harris,
Rest in peace.
Dick Gregory,
Robin Harris.
Harris, Dick Gregory, Red Fox, and Marvin Gaye.
Bebe's kids.
Marvin Gaye painted a world that was so exact that my children's children would be able to sing his word and know exactly what he saw. And I think that is
Powerful.
artistically what I would like to accomplish as an artist.
You know, we all have a welcome to the league moment when in sports where we talk about something that, that was like, okay, I'm here now. In comedy, did you ever have like a welcome to the big stage, welcome to the big leagues moment?
Well, it's different.
Where you bombed on stage, you walked up.
Oh man, listen. A cheer and a boo feel exactly the same to me now.
Mm-hmm.
Like your body can't tell the difference between a sneeze and an orgasm. It doesn't know the difference. It's the same thing. It's the build-up, it's the climax, it's the resolution. All of it is the same thing. What somebody thinks of me is none of my business.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get it. I don't like you. I don't like me, nigga.
I get it.
Tell me something.
But yet I have to be with me. So let's see how this goes.
Yeah.
But I think for me, there is a date certain. You knew that you athletically could do things that other people couldn't do. And it followed you every level.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you had to catch up or whatever. But whatever you did kept you in the league a long, long time because you knew how to do a thing. You could score, you could defend, you could rebound, you could do whatever you needed to do. For me, as an artist, I wasn't bright, I wasn't educated, I wasn't erudite, but I was curious. And so that takes longer. It takes longer. I ain't never been hot, but I've been warm a long time. Mm-hmm. And that to me is, and I feel like the man I am now is the man the little boy I always wanted to be. So I mean,
I'm going to bring up these two places and tell me what you think of them. Century Club.
You heard the way he giggled on that shit?
That's so LA. You know what? That was the first time I ever saw, like, 'cause I grew up in this city. Like, I would see people on The Price is Right going, I'm from LA. And I ain't never seen these niggas there. Mm-hmm. But it was the first time I saw people that I knew, like I knew, not that I knew, had an individual knowledge of them, but I knew the kinds of people they were with this aspirational thing that became, like they became the thing that I'd always heard people could be. And they looked like me, and they drank the same shit I did, and they sang the same words I did. So it was the first time that Hollywood and 135th and Avalon were in the same proximity.
Maverick Flats.
Well, it was the first time. It was, I talked to my man Gino. Now, Mavericks Flats, the first time I ever picked up a microphone was Total Experience, which was not right next to the Maverick Flats. But Maverick Flats was our G League. It was our proving ground. It was our AAA. And you know what? There is something to be said for somebody that can go through it. There are some people who are immensely talented, but being talented, it's like being Mr. Howell on Gilligan's Island. It don't mean shit unless you could summon it on demand under pressure. You can be the baddest motherfucker in the world in the gym or at practice, but it don't mean shit unless you can make it happen when the lights is on and it's in the crucible of battle. It don't mean a goddamn thing.
We just talked to Byron Scott about, because in basketball, sometimes the lights get too bright in LA for people. Is it similar in this comedy space?
Yes. I've seen men who were the best. First, I've done 11 specials, from Comedy Central to Showtime to HBO. And I remember the very first HBO special I got. I had a manager. He was out of Oakland. His name was Tony Spires. And he used to do the Bay Area Black Comedy Competition. And they were having these tryouts at the townhouse. So they were having tryouts and I didn't get a tryout. But what he got me was I got to be the host of the audition. Man, I would bring them people on and do 10 minutes, bring them people on, do 3 minutes, do them people on, do 4 minutes. By the end of the night, they got it because I had to have it. Man, I got married at 21. I got kids. I got a house. I ain't got no skill, nigga. I'm finna ready to make it happen. And that
was your break.
That was, well, see, I've never, it's interesting because if you asked me what it is I thought happened, I would tell you that I woke up 30-something years later and I'm here. So I don't remember a specific thing like that was the epiphany for me. The only thing I can ever remember is the first time I picked up a microphone at the Total Experience for Robin Harris and Blue Magic. The first time I picked up a microphone, I knew what I would do for the rest of my life. Just like the first time you pick up a basketball, the first time, I knew it. And I knew I would do it whether people wanted me to do it or not. And so that has always been, if anything, it was the genesis of how I started.
We just had Sid on, and he got to talking about stories kind of behind the scenes of Kings of Comedy. What was that experience like? How did you become a part of that King group? And talk to us about it.
Well, I was. They were in theaters, and then they were in theaters, and I was on the Hughleys on ABC, and I'd worked with Sid and Steve forever, and Bernie forever. And so they wanted to go to arenas, so they thought they needed. So what they did was they said, well, in Houston, I came on. And he said, Walter was like, everybody got a set price, but he's gonna try to give me less. I'm like, no, nigga, I'm not.
I need that.
No.
I need that.
You good. You could. I ain't got to do it. So I did it. I crushed, and the rest is history. But I think, I never think. You know how you look at your wedding pictures, or you look at your wedding albums, or you look at your high school yearbook or your trophies, and you would never even look at them unless you were walking by and something struck you. Like, I never think about Kings of Comedy unless they bring it up. So when for me, what happened was the Kings of Comedy. It was one of the greatest things I'd ever been a part of. But it's also a part of my life I don't have to revisit. I ain't got to keep talking about high school. I ain't got to keep talking about the girl that got away. I ain't got to, because I had it, it was great, but that's like trying to survive off the food you already ate. The thing I remember the most is how I knew that it was something special. But I remember when we shot the Kings of Comedy, people don't know this, but I shot a special called Going Home in August. We shot the Kings of Comedy 3 months later. So I had to write a whole new 30
routine,
minutes
yeah.
in a month, 2 months. And so that's what I remember. So I remember the day before we shot it, I didn't have any material, so I was talking to Spike Lee and that, man, fuck it, you could do it. So that was it for me. So it wasn't, I didn't have all I remember is going around the country doing sets so that I could put together 30 minutes. So, and then I saw the movie.
What is the process of putting something like that together? Like, we know we want to work on our game. We're going to work on our game, get out there, get our shots up, run, stay in condition, and then play and get better. Like, so what do you, like you said, that's a short amount of time to put a routine together. What is a normal routine?
Now
like?
it's different because I'm a grown man. So, now I have a broader continuum of experiences to draw from.
Okay.
But I think, to me, the writing process is easier because all I'm here to do is bear witness. I'm a camera. I don't make your mind up. I tell you what I see. I take the picture. You decide what it is. But I think when you're younger, you want to prove things to people. When you're older, you know who you are.
Don't matter.
I'm a manufacturer. I make red cups. They don't sell them everywhere. But when they do sell them, I do good. But they don't, it ain't none of my business.
Obviously, Bernie was taken early, but what do you think if he would have just got to continue on the path he was on? Someone who crossed over into Hollywood and was doing some other things.
I think everybody does what they're here to do, and then they're not here no more. Moses didn't get to go to the promised land. I've never seen anybody live past their use by date. Nobody is here any longer than they're supposed to be. So I don't lament that. I'm glad I got to see it. I'm glad I got to be here. But when people, everybody is, whatever you're looking for is looking for you. And everywhere you're supposed to be, you are. What is sad for me is that I always thought I would have more time. Like, I knew Bernie was sick, and I knew what was going on, but I thought, I'll play this gig and we'll get together. I was arrogant enough to believe that time would listen to me. That's the only regret I have about it. I thought that I would get to laugh with him again. Same thing with Charlie Murphy. I thought that I would get to, it's an arrogant thing. I thought I would do it with my father too. So it's all these these things that happen. I ain't never learned a goddamn lesson. You're supposed to enjoy what you have right there. But the only thing I regret about that is not what he would have done. It's that I believe that we would have more time to make some more memories. And that was a foolish, arrogant thing to believe.
You mentioned Charlie Murphy. You guys have a good relationship?
We had a great relationship. He's the best storyteller. Charlie Murphy is by far the best. There hasn't been. The greatest storyteller in history is Mark Twain. The second greatest storyteller in history is Charlie Murphy. That motherfucker told some story. This is how great Charlie Murphy is. I knew that nigga had cancer, and I didn't believe he did. I was like, oh, everybody's stomach get that big. What? Like, he was that great. He told stories, and he was great. His brother is one of the greatest entertainers of all time. Charlie had his name, and he was older, and he carved out his own way.
His own niche.
And he bombed at first, and it was rough at first, but he became this thing all on his own. It wasn't set out for him. He had no silver spoon. He didn't truck on anybody else. He was Charlie Murphy. You say Charlie Murphy in a way that's so separate from his brother.
Oh, absolutely.
How great is that?
That's respect.
You don't know nobody else. You don't see nobody else's kids
Especially
becoming
like you
the thing.
said, his dad is his brother is as big a star as Eddie was.
Man, come on
Charlie
now.
stood on his own.
Name me another person who got two names that are great. Two of them. You get one, and then the other nigga get a job. That's it.
Hoop fans, the NBA trades have been crazy. Get in on all the actions with my partners at DraftKings Sportsbook with Pick 6. Pick 6 is a fresh and exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. All new customers who play just $5 will get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now, sign up using the code SMOKE to claim your offer. Getting started is simple. Pick just 2 players and choose if they'll have more or less of a stat. Lock them in and compete against each other for a shot at huge cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now. Sign up using the code SMOKE. Only at DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. This episode is brought to you by Boost Mobile.
Boost Mobile is now a legit nationwide 5G network. I know we stay joking, but let me take a second to put on my serious voice. Because this isn't a joking matter. Me personally, I would never joke about a 5G network that has invested billions in building 5G towers across the country.
Me neither.
Not even once.
Me neither.
Feel me?
Boost Mobile is now a legit nationwide 5G network and also provides coverage across 99% of America. Seriously. Visit boostmobile.com or your nearest Boost Mobile store for more information.
The Boost Mobile network together with our roaming partners covers 99% of the U.S. population. 5G speeds not available in all areas.
You never really, obviously you had the Hughley show, but you never really gravitated towards Hollywood like you could have if you wanted to. Was there a reason behind that?
No, I think like I said before, you where you supposed to be. I do what I love. I do what I love. I love to get up, say what I see, and take what comes. So it's a more freeing. Now I'm writing a show now, that we have a deal with a network, and I'm very proud to do it. But I only want to do what it is I want to do.
Sitcom? What kind of show?
It's gonna be a sitcom.
Okay.
And I'm very proud of it because it's a reflection of the life I have right now. But I never wanted to. You know the only reason I came here? Because I felt like I had something to say. If I didn't feel like I had something to say, I wouldn't be. You know. So I never want to do anything because I don't feel because I want to do what I believe I can contribute to.
Mm-hmm. Will you be starring in that or just?
Oh yeah,
writing
I'm writing it.
Okay.
It's a sitcom based on my life and my family where I'm now. I got a gay daughter, an autistic son, and an older daughter who had cancer, and a wife who is I've been with for 40 years, and so I just think it's in the creative process. I never want to feel like I have to apologize for having a perspective, and I think sometimes the entertainment apparatus wants to let people off the hook, but I think I want this show to be like if the nation got a chance to be a fly on the wall of a family having a conversation.
Was there any hesitance with that? Really opening that door with the family side,
No,
not yourself?
well, what they gonna do? They gonna tell me I can't do it? You better go home and cry in a pile of money and shut up. People always think that experiences are just solitary. Me and you could have an experience. You could have one perspective of it, and I could have another. That don't mean either one of us is lying. But why should I have to have permission from anybody to say what I saw? Mm-hmm. Like, why would I have to ask you permission for having a perspective that's divergent from yours?
What does family mean to you? I mean, you talking about family.
Everything, but not in everything in the cliche kind of way.
Right.
I think that family is a unit that you grow into like you do anything else. What my family means to me now isn't what it meant to me when I was much younger. What family means to me now, because when you're younger, you hustling to try to make it happen. You're trying to make sure everybody has what they need. But what they need is you. But you can't be. Any dude that tells you can he walk that perfect line where he is there enough and doing enough, if you there, somebody ain't eating. If you're not there, somebody's sad you gone. But when you're a man, you have to walk those paths. Now that I'm a grandfather, I get to be more present and get to. What I've hoped is that I've instilled enough of my attributes that are positive, that my children have told them who I am, and it's set the skids for me where they love being around me. But even that, all I know is I've done what I knew to do, and now I try to do better. And if they accept it, cool. If they don't, I can understand it.
You have to have gone through a lot in life to be at such peace with where you are. When did that kind of start coming in?
Nobody gets peace. You run out of wind.
So just not
Thinking like,
giving a
shit,
fuck.
I can't. Like, I would like to chase all these bras, but I'm tired.
But
Don't you think I want to go? Hey, you tell now? I just settle for tell me what you're gonna do.
But I'm talking from a standpoint of just like, this is me. And when were you just comfortable? Because it wasn't always like that. Like you said, when you're grinding and hustling, although you're very confident in yourself, you still kind of hear the noise. You know what I mean? I asked Kobe this question, like, what did you hear during your career that hurt you or bothered you? He's like, I heard it all, and it all hurt. Mm-hmm. I mean, so when did you become at such peace with, like, this is, like you said, I'm a red cup. They don't sell me everywhere, so where they like me, they sell a lot.
Peace is what you are forced to accept.
Okay.
Generally, peace is one strong man giving another one strong position, giving a lesser position an opportunity to pretend like they're both getting what they want. Like, I'm tired of fighting, you tired of dying. It's never equal. So my peace comes from the fact that every day I'm going to do what I believe, and I'm willing to take what comes with it. So it's not a guarantee. It's not that I'll win all the time. And I ain't never been the kind of cat that prayed that God would to give me victory. I never, because I think that's an arrogant thing to go, please God, out of all these people, I'm your favorite, show me victory. I've always prayed to God to give me the best accounting I can make of myself that day. And that's a peaceful thing. When you know that God is going to give you exactly what the max that he can give you and that you're going to do the best you can do, shit, what could happen?
What makes you happy in 2025?
I'm a black man who never known what happened. I've never known a black man who could tell me what happiness was. What is it? It's like a fucking unicorn or big foot. I've never heard a black man say these things out loud: happiness and safety. So at 60 years old was the first time I've ever asked myself what happiness could be.
What'd you come up with?
Nothing yet. I'm working on it, baby.
3 years later,
Yeah,
still don't know?
Why would I? It's such an abstract concept to me. Like, people talk about happiness like it's a place you live, like it's fucking Xanadu. It ain't. Happiness is just being content. So I don't know that I'll find it, but I know that I'm more open to it than I ever was.
What'd you think about the Drake and Kendrick beef?
I think that Drake is an immensely talented artist who had always been talented, and his talent had always been stoked. But Kendrick was an artist. I've never seen an artist who was everything he thought he was at the moment when nobody thought he could be it. Nobody thought he could do what he did, but he did. He knew it. And because he knew it, he elevated an entire coast. You saw black people and Bloods and Crips and Latins who didn't get along. And he elevated because he spoke, his metric was set to all of us who could see ourselves in him. Drake is talented and he can make me dance and I vibe to his shit, but he never spoke to me in the place that I felt. That motherfucker, nigga, how you make a diss record and then you at the Super Bowl? Okay. You ain't never seen you never seen it. We've never seen. He is a brilliant artist, a brilliant artist in an art form that's sometimes underestimated and never really quite quantified. And I'm proud he's from the streets I'm from. I'm proud he's breathed the same air. And I'm proud he sounds and looks like he did.
He's keeping substance in the game.
Yeah, he does. And substance to everybody. I don't know what it is. I think Drake is very talented.
I appreciate substance. That's what I want to hear.
I hear you talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
That's why when I post you, I delete my name because I want nobody to know I did it. I watched this nigga beat Detroit up. So isn't it funny that two violent niggas have the best podcast? And it's called All the Smoke? That's fucking hilarious. You should have...
Can't make this shit up, huh? Can't make this shit
You should
up.
have called a restraining order. That's what y'all should have called this shit.
Restraining order.
These niggas shouldn't even be in the same room, but yet...
Oh, shit. He said restraining order. 2025. Well, I mean, you said you're working on a pilot right now.
Yeah.
What are you working on these days?
I'm working on a pilot with a very talented dude called Alex Barnos for CBS, and it's me and where I am right now, and it looks really good. I'm writing a book called Charlie's Boy about my father, and I think the worst thing I know is that my father never knew what I thought of him, and this is my telling him what I thought of him.
That's dope. How long has he been going?
We start now. We've had the deal for 2 years, but I just didn't think that I had the bandwidth to make it happen. But
Is Pop still here or is he passed?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I would never talk this shit if he was here.
Yeah.
My father had to die to hear this shit now. Let me tell you. I've had the best relationship with my father since he's been gone. He listens and everything.
That's
It's so
crazy.
What would you tell somebody like me who want to get into acting?
that you already are an actor.
So I'm the second person to tell me that.
That's what, you know what it is? Everything you're looking for is looking for you. Mm-hmm. You never see, now I think that the greatest actors I've ever seen that weren't necessarily trained, but all it is do I believe what you're saying when you're saying it.
Right.
So first take things that are in your warehouse, then challenge yourself. Mm-hmm. But you already an actor. You're acting like you ain't never beat up Detroit. And that's fucking hilarious. You acting like I can't watch you from 30-30 right now. That's crazy.
I got that down pat.
Great at that.
And he sound unreasonable, like he ain't the same man. That's so fucking funny. I think that the fact that there's so many bright young comedians. I do a thing, and it's called Wednesdays at the DL, and I do it in Pasadena, and it's at the Ice House, and I do it every Wednesday. And I put on all young comics. Mm-hmm. Because I see these dudes doing shit. Because it's different. Like everybody's always talking about. I remember Eric Dickerson, who was one of my favorite running backs, right? And Saquon Barkley might have broke his record. And Eric pointed out that that Saquon had one more game. But no one's ever seen these kind of defenses before. No one's ever seen that. So with these kind of athletes and these kind of schemes, so everywhere you're supposed to be, you get what you get from that moment. And it's ridiculous to pretend like I know or can intuit what these people's parameters are, what their drawbacks are, what they're not. But I will say the one thing that I notice about the younger generation and us, they now want a collaborative, or for me, and I've watched a lot of them work. It's not just me saying some shit, I'm just saying. But I've been doing this thing for like 5 months now, and I've seen, 300 young comics. And one of the things that I see in them, and not everybody, but there is more collaboration. That's not a judgment or an assessment of what that is. It's just or a judgment of what that is. It's just my assessment. Us, we were more individualistic. Like I have this thing. A lion and tiger are more powerful, but a wolf won't perform in the circus. There's a level of individualism that we got, and maybe it was born of the time we were in that I don't see exhibited now. I think they think being mean and caustic, not everybody, but being mean and caustic is the way.
It's not even the same type of route, though, these days. I mean, obviously, you look at the path that, your generation of comics had to take and the ups and downs and the grinds, and it's just different now because of social media.
Sure, but
Does it
then
stop the level of funny, or is it like to
well,
you?
it was different when people went from radio to TV and TV for the films, so it's everybody has their
The evolution.
kind of But when I think that I believe that comedy is so sacrosanct that everybody should have the right to say and do what they want. I think it's an unbridled, unvarnished truth. That doesn't mean people are going to accept what you do, but it also doesn't mean that I'm going to agree with. You could be a cop and like with cop and be in the union, but that doesn't mean you can't say that this crosses the line. I think that comics can cross a line too. And it doesn't mean I don't love the art form. I can respect your ability and your right to do it. But I don't think it's funny to talk about how you could rape another dude. I don't think that's funny.
Right, not at all.
And then I don't think it's funny. I think it's worse when you pretend like you get to say what you want that is out of bounds. But when somebody says something out of bounds to you, you get offended. I don't think that's... Look, hey, man, I said it. You have every right to come at me the way you feel like you need to.
I was in the comments. I was like, bro, this ain't going to end how you think it's going to
No.
end. That's exactly what I said.
No. You can't talk about raping somebody. That's a violent thing.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
And if that's what you mean, roll with it. 2 tears in a bucket and fuck it. Let's see what happens. Let's see. Like I remember this one dude telling, I'm gonna kick your ass. And you know what? He did, but I went, let's see. Let's see. Let's see. You can't beat me before we start. How the fuck that gonna happen? How the game won before we even start the game? Let's just see.
Oh, shit. Quick hitters. First thing to come to mind, let us know.
Top 5 comedians of all time.
To me,
Your opinion, yeah.
I ain't gonna do it.
Can't do it?
No, but I know that there are 15 people I'd pay to see.
Okay. Who are those? Give me 10 of them.
I would have paid to see Robin Harris. I would pay to see Earthquake. I'd pay to see Steve. I'd pay to see Sid. I'd pay to see Katt. I'd pay to see Epps. I'd pay to see Deion Cole. I'd pay to see.
Deion Cole funny as a motherfucker.
I'd pay to see George Lopez.
Yep.
There are people I'd pay to see. They're so funny to me. I don't even call my agent to ask where they're at. I don't even ask for good tickets.
Just want to see it.
I just want to see it.
it.
Then I want to say I saw it.
What's it like?
And Chris
when you-
Rock is Dave Chappelle. Like, it's all those people I know who are doing things. I can tell you this. I remember seeing Jamie Foxx years ago at the Comedy Act Theater. And he was so talented. I stormed out and I went, it's unfair for a motherfucker to be that talented. And I was mad at him for years for being that fucking talented. And then later on, given all the things he'd gone through, like we became friends and I respect him a lot. But look at how him being that talented girded him up and building all that, girding them up for the things that would happen to them later on in life. Like for me, I've never seen, Ced is the most, everybody fucking loves Cedric. So when Katt talked bad about him, it made me happy. I was like, oh, goddamn, thank you. I called Ced, I said, nigga, I'm glad somebody said something bad about you, nigga. I'm so happy.
He said that. He said that on the show.
I'm so happy. It made my dick, I'm so fucking happy that they said something bad about him. I called him right away, nigga, I'm glad. I don't feel bad for you, fuck you. I know, goddamn it, it's about time.
That's the motherfucker everybody loves, right? Everybody loves it.
Everybody love you. Yeah. Well, nigga, not him. That made me so. He'll tell you right now. That made me so happy.
He said it on the episode.
I couldn't stop laughing. I was like, oh my God. I didn't believe it because it was not my experience with him.
Yeah.
But it made me happy. Imagine being around somebody you love all the time and you always in trouble and this motherfucker always explaining to you, finally, ha, nigga, I'm so glad it happened. I can't wait till Shannon Sharp 2 come up. Shit's good.
5 dinner guests, dead or alive. You plus 5 at the dinner table.
I would want to talk to Winston Churchill. I would want to talk to Jesus, but not the white Jesus. I would want to talk to Mark Twain. I would want to talk to Helen Keller.
Helen Keller. How you going to talk to Helen Keller?
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Do you know that she was... This is so funny. She was deaf, dumb, blind, but she wrote a book that described the world the way it is now.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Helen Keller. And she also brought Akitas to America. And I would want to talk to my 15-year-old father.
Oh, young fella.
One album you can listen to with no skips.
Here, My Dear, by Marvin Gaye.
Marvin Gaye.
Remember, that was an album he had to give to his wife.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of a divorce settlement.
Mm-hmm.
And he wrote it from a van. He was homeless in, I think, Hawaii. And it wasn't just, hey, here, bitch. It was like, he wrote his best work and gave it to her as a testament to his love and her influence on him. And I think the most beautiful thing you could ever do is to tell people exactly how you feel about them in that moment.
Well said. Guilty pleasure.
I just told you about that. I'm never guilty about my pleasures. People always think I should be, but
I'm not. What I said the other day, I'm not guilty about it.
I ain't got one of them. I like what I like. I just hope you don't catch me liking it, goddammit.
I like it. I like mine. I love mine.
I hope you
I don't want you to see me liking it and look at me like, why does this nigga like that?
I can't go a day without mine.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Guilty pleasure means I think I'm doing something wrong. I'm doing something you might think is wrong. Like I don't like to, I never want to hurt the women I love. I don't ever want to do nothing that hurts them. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't mean I don't like it when I do it. That's crazy. That's crazy to say that.
It's crazy. Insane.
Childhood crush.
It was a girl named Catherine. I ain't going to say her last name. So I was in the 7th grade and she was in the 9th. Everybody has these stories. So I was in the 7th grade. She was in the 9th. And I rode the bus. Went to Perry Junior High. And we were in L.A., it was the unincorporated part of L.A., so they would pick us up. And so the bus in L.A., Gino, you might notice, had this hierarchy. Youngest in the front, 7th in the front, 8th in the middle, 9th in the back. Unless you were cool, 7th grade,
You can move
but
around
I
a little
didn't.
bit.
So I remember this song called Gloria by Enchantment would come on. And every day I would look back at her in the mirror, in the big old bus mirror, and the song would come on and I'd look at her and she would smile. And so one day, I did, and we did this for like the song was a hit for weeks. So every day would come on at the same time. And one day, why did I look up at her? And she saw me and said, "What you looking at, you motherfucker?
Damn.
Stop looking at me, you nappy-headed fucker."
Yeah.
And I felt so small. And the bus driver, you know how that half gloves driving the little bus? He go, "It's all right, little man." And later on, that bus driver married that girl.
Married the girl on
But he
the-
was only like 21,
Okay.
22.
Yeah.
And maybe 2 years ago, this girl's, I got on the plane And these two dudes, young cats, came on, and they were like, "You know our mother," and they said her name,
Get the fuck out of here.
and it was her.
Wow.
And I was so glad they were sitting in coach. I was so happy.
He said, I'm so glad they were sitting in
If your
coach.
mom would have acted right, you could have been up here with me. But you wasn't. Tell that motherfucker I said Gloria. That's a true story.
Oh, shit. That's good.
If you could see one guest on our show, who would it be?
But
you have to help us get your answer on the show.
One guest on your show, who could it be?
You have to help us get your answer on the show.
I'd like to see y'all talk to Bill Maher.
I like
Nice.
Bill Maher.
I would like to see you talk to him.
Yeah.
I
would.
like Bill Maher.
I think it'd be a great guest for you.
Yeah. I
I like
I'm
Bill
with
Maher.
that.
That's a
I
good
do.
call. Well, Dio, man, we appreciate your time.
Thank you, man.
And willingness to come spend some time with us.
Thank you, man.
We got a little gift here
Oh,
for you.
yeah,
Our,
thank you. Why did I know this was coming?
Yeah. Coffee table book, you know what I mean?
For
With a hard
sure.
copy.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah.
And I hope it has pictures.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it does. Thank you.
Yeah. Here, we got you a torch.
Yeah.
For your
for
cigar.
Sure.
And then
I don't think you thought it
some
was for
merch.
my cigar.
No, that's what I knew it'd be for you.
We're doing.
And then some tour merch for us.
And then I got to tell y'all, man, y'all in a different vibration.
Appreciate that.
I can't tell you what it's going to mean, but I can tell you what it is right now. And I like the way y'all doing it in a way that's uniquely y'all.
Thank you.
Two niggas that should have been arrested. That probably shouldn't be within 1,000 feet of each other. You know, everything you're doing right now will get you kicked out the league. Everything you do.
Easily.
But I'm glad you, I
made
do
it.
it, man.
I remember coming on your show right when I got out
Yeah.
the NBA. And you had me on a couple times. And I liked and I enjoyed it. And you said something like, don't be coming on here, like being funny, but like almost kind of giving me a compliment that I was kind of doing a good job of what I was doing.
Well, you know what? Like I said this ad nauseum. Everything you're looking for is looking for you. And I like that you didn't, listen, I'm in radio, so it's a different thing. But imagine seeing the biggest podcast that no one's ever seen and then not trying to do that thing. That's the great temptation.
Yeah.
You could go, well, that's how they doing it. That's what hey, look, if you want to go to the moon, if we launched a rocket to the moon, we couldn't go where it's going. We couldn't go where it's at. We got to go where it's going. It's like if you shooting something, you lead it. You throwing a pass, you go, you throw it where they're going, where they should be, not where they at.
Right. Facts. Well, man, thank you. We enjoyed your time today, man. Best of luck,
Thank you,
everything
man.
moving forward. Best of luck with that sitcom. If you
Thank
need
you.
any extras, my man is
Yeah.
here. He's looking for it, and you looking
You know
for him.
when
he's
this
looking
what
for you.
I'm gonna do a scene in Detroit, and what I'm gonna do is have the whole a scene where somebody got to beat the entire city up.
It's gonna be Jack.
Then
Man, you can catch this on the DraftKings Network and all the Smoke Productions YouTube. We'll see y'all next week.